and she's a full-time officer for the union. Just to refresh your memories, she's based at the Newcastle regional office, and you all know where that is, by the way. You know where the union regional office is, just next to City Hall, you know. You know where the John Dobson Street. It's important, I think, that members know that, like, in our branch, that we've got a regional office, and there's, you know, if somehow or other, you know, you kind of get in contact with us, or maybe you're not entirely satisfied with the treatment you've had or the support you've had from any of us. You know, the union office is there, and they're on the phone, of course. So the email, you can get in touch with them, you know, and they'll do that almost for you. Just sort of like know that. So anyway, that brings us on to Julie, and Julie's going to give you like a talk about what's happening generally in the union, and no doubt at the end of that she'll give you the opportunity to, if you've got any issues that you want to raise or any questions you want to ask her. And so I'll, you know, bring her in now.
Nothing like being put on the spotlight. I came along with a meeting to kind of talk to the branch about a consultation thing, and then ended up being a guest speaker. But there you go. I'll kill Kevin McHugh next time I see him. So I'm better looking though, so you video that to make sure we use that. I think the first thing I wanted to say really was kind of touching on what Mick had said there at the end, that I'm sure if Kevin was here, he would have said the same thing, that the National Union and the group as well appreciate all the work that your reps do for you, because it is, a lot of the time, it's a thankless task. It's a task that a lot of people do in their own time. You know, we've had masses of facility time cuts over the last year, so you know, your reps may not be as available as perhaps they have been in the past because of these cuts in facility time, but obviously we appreciate, and certainly us working for PCS as well, that the union just couldn't function without people like your reps who are on your branch committee, and it's really pleasing the long list of reps that Tom read out, that people are getting involved. So you know, hopefully more people will get involved in PCS, and they do that when they can see that branches are doing things and that they're campaigning on issues. I'm going to just touch on some of the national campaigns that are going on, or that's been going on over the last year, and touch a little bit on what you can do as members to help PCS. And then, as Mick says, if there's any questions, I'm quite happy to answer them, or if people want to hang around afterwards, I'm quite happy to have a discussion with them about them. I think the first thing to recognise is the work that was done around the direct debit campaign. As you'll probably know, as most of you, well, all of you have signed up for direct debit, the government had a deliberate attempt to try to undermine PCS across the civil service by withdrawing check-off, which is the way that you paid your subscriptions, where it used to come out of your pay. They did that on purpose. They did it to try and smash the union. They did it to try to undermine us, so that it made us weaker. And basically, they didn't achieve what they wanted to do. Yes, we have lost some members, but we are hopeful that we will get those members back. We certainly, from the regional office point of view, we get phone calls pretty much on a daily and weekly basis from members who ring up and ask for representation, and the members who are not actually paying subs because they forgot to do their direct debits. So we know that members are starting to realise that, you know, they should have done this, and they're only going to get representation if they actually sign up to the union. So, as I say, it was a deliberate attempt to try and smash us. We pulled out all the stops, right from branch level right up to national level. We invested loads of money and resource into signing our members up, and around about 80% of members did sign up. But that does mean that about 20% didn't, and we need to do everything that we can to try and get those people back. The additional thing that we did on the direct debit campaign was we launched a court case in DWP. It was 2 DWP reps who actually put the case in their name, and we won that case, which said it was unlawful what the government did to withdraw check-off. We're now in the process of putting together a statement of loss, which is for quite a substantial amount of money, as you can imagine, because a lot of time and effort was spent on that. I know I was certainly travelling all over the country. In my job, I work for the organising department, PCS, which is in London. So I was travelling all around the country doing direct debit work day in, day out, so all of that cost is being put into this statement of loss. So we're hopeful that DWP will have to pay up and give us that money back. Having said that, I wouldn't go back to paying by cheque off now, because the advantage we've got now is that management don't know who's in the union and who's not. So they can't use that against us to say, you know, that branch is weaker than that branch. Plus it gives us a better handle, I think, on who's paying subscriptions. So they've kind of done us a favour, if you like, but obviously that's had a massive effect on our finances. Because of that, what PCS have done at the national level is we've tried to cut resources and things. We've had to kind of make cuts, not to jobs, though some people have decided to leave and have took redundancy packages. But we've had to really try and look at what kind of work we're doing, really concentrate our work on trying to build the union back up to the level it was, making sure that members get representation and making sure that they get the support that they need, as well as branches. So we've had to kind of change the way we do things and the way that we operate. And what we've done is created a hub structure. So our region, the northern region, now comes under the Leeds office, the Yorkshire and Humberside structure, where there's a lot more staff, but that means that we've got a lot more resources that we can pull on if we need to. So we always know that there are going to be staff there to assist. On the national campaign, the main issue has been around the job cuts and office closures, and I think it's Tom or Mick, I can't remember whether both of you mentioned about the job cuts, but you'll have seen the announcement in the DWP where they've announced a number of office closures, as referred to before. Bishop Auckland and Barrow and Furness are the two big ones in this region, both from areas where the closure of those offices will cause massive problems for those communities, because in those two areas, the DWP probably are the biggest employer in those areas, because they've lost their industry and all the rest of it. So we've launched two really good campaigns in both Bishop Auckland and in Barrow. So what we want you to do really is to have a look in the press, have a look on Facebook. They've got a really good Facebook campaign going on. The MPs in both areas are really supportive. They've got petitions. So as members, we would hope that all members will sign this petition and support those branches who are going through this difficult time at the moment, because we think that we can save those officers because they have got such a good campaign and they have got a good amount of support. The HMRC are in a similar position where they announced last year the movement to a hub structure where all the offices, for instance in the North East, all the offices south of Benton Park View will close on a rolling programme starting I think from 2017, from this year. And they will all move, all the offices south of Newcastle will all close, and all the people there will either have to take redundancy or they will have to move to Benton Park View, which is obviously for people in Middlesbrough is not really an ideal scenario to be faced in. So HMRC and DWP are facing quite similar kind of attacks, and what we're trying to do is to try and join those campaigns together to make sure that we're trying to get the best that we can for members, and obviously trying to get support from the public and from politicians as well. On the political lobbying, we have got a parliamentary group at a national level, and that's got MPs from all parties in Parliament. It's chaired by somebody from the SNP. It was chaired by John MacDonald, but he's gone on to bigger and better things as a Shadow Chancellor. And we've got a political strategy where we look at things like marginal areas where MPs might have been elected by a very marginal amount, and look at those areas, see what's happening to our officers in those areas, and say to those MPs, look, if you don't support our campaign, we'll tell our members that they shouldn't be voting for you because you don't support our campaign. And if they were elected by a very small majority, they're very keen to come and work with us. And this is Tory MPs, Lib Dems, Labour MPs, and all sorts of others. So we use that kind of political strategy that we've got to try and, you know, better the interests of our members. On the civil service compensation scheme, which kind of leads on from the job cuts area, we consulted branches in the past about the potential for industrial action around the civil service compensation scheme and around potential job cuts. And that's one of the things that I really wanted to talk to the branch about today, and obviously welcome the views of members as well, about what kind of action do you think, or do you think members would support action? First of all, if you do think members would support action around the civil service compensation scheme, around office closures, what kind of action do you think would be supported? So things like action short of strike, one-day strikes, longer day strikes, or targeted action. If we were looking at things like targeted action, are there areas in your own branch where you think are so crucial to the department's business that if we pulled members out in those areas and we paid strike action, paid for any strike action, where we could be successful and could bring the employer back to the table on issues? So are there some key areas of work that we would really use members on that? And on the payment of strike action, what we're trying to do is to encourage all members to sign up to our fighting fund, and I've got some leaflets on the table at the back there which look like this. We're asking all members if they would be willing to donate around about £2 a month, and what that money would be used for would go into our fighting fund, and it would mean that if we decided after this consultation, if we could find some areas of members where, you know, if we pulled them out was absolutely crucial, the business would stop, and we would be able to, you know, get some concessions for every member, but obviously that needs to be paid for from somewhere. So we are asking everyone to consider taking a standing order out for the fighting fund. As I say, there's forms at the back. We've also got some diaries there, and we're asking that any members who want a diary that they donate £1 to the fighting fund for that as well. So hopefully everybody will pick one of those. Hopefully not everybody, because I've only brought 10, but we can get you some more if anybody else does want them. So it's all about trying to build up that fighting fund so that we can go into any industrial action that we do decide to take with a good pot of money that we were able to pay members some money so that they're not in hardship. But if these small groups, pockets of members are able to kind of influence our agenda, then you know, other members can pay for that. So, as I say, I welcome your views on that, and I'll obviously talk to your branch committee about that as well, but any views that you've got yourselves. And, you know, be honest, if you don't think members will take action, then tell me that, because there's nothing worse than thinking, oh yeah, organise some industrial action and then finding that we lose a ballot, particularly with the anti-trade union laws that are in place now, where we've got to achieve a certain amount in that ballot. Just going to finish on a couple of things about what you can do as members, and I've already said about the fighting fund. Another area that we're concentrating on is apprentices. Is anybody here an apprentice? No, not so good. So what we're trying to do is to find out, I don't think you've got that many apprentices in the team. I think there's more in HMRC, but we've just recently negotiated a new agreement with the Cabinet Office on apprentices. It literally has been negotiated last week, so it's brand new, hot off the press. We've not even gone out to all members about this, so you're the first ones to hear about it. But the new agreement has improvements around pay, job security and redundancy avoidance. Various other things about contact that these guests can have and the trade unions can have with apprentices, that we've got early contact with them, that they're encouraged to join the trade union and participate in that trade union. So really good agreement that we've achieved, but what we're lacking is the knowledge of which officers have apprentices, where are these apprentices and what kind of work are they doing. So if you have got any information about that, if you've got apprentices working with you, then can you let the branch know so they can let me know? And let us know so what kind of work are they doing and where are they, and try and encourage them to join the union, because as I say, this agreement is a really good agreement, but it would not be in place if it wasn't for PCS pushing some of these issues. So that's the first thing. Secondly, We want you to get involved. As I said, it's really good and really encouraging that there's a lot of people that come forward for the branch committee, and the more people who get involved, the more work gets done, and the more, because what our aim is that we've got lots of people doing little bits of work instead of one or two people having to do everything. So one of the things we've done is introduce the new role of the union advocate, and again I've got some forms for union advocates on the back, and I would encourage everybody who's not already a member of the committee, who doesn't already hold a union post, to become a union advocate, because you're the very people who we think are ideal candidates for it. It's people who come along to meetings, who pass things on to the branch, who ask questions, who are willing to help us distribute materials, who encourage other people to join the union. Anybody like that is an ideal candidate to be a union advocate, so we would encourage you all to sign up as a union advocate if you're not already a rep yourself. And also, I brought some membership forms over, and what I would ask is that every member in the room takes one membership form back with them and tries to encourage somebody who you sit with to join the union, because if you all got somebody to join the union, including these on the top table as well, that could be, you know, an additional 30 members on top of the membership we've got, and that's how we can build the union, by little steps like that, by everybody playing their part. So I would ask everybody to do that. I think I'll leave my comments there, and I'll say I'll try and answer any questions that anybody might have.
Thank you very much, Julie. We're really big for time, you know, as per usual, but nevertheless, any observations, questions for Julie? No?
Particularly about the action.
I think the point you make about building a fighting fund at £2 a month, it's probably about 50 pence, probably nearly 50 pence a week.
I remember we used to have one in the 80s when they took the computer strike. They were up over a year, and that used to be £1 a week then. So
Yeah, you're right, Michael. I think, I can remember when we went around with the buckets as well.
yeah.
Sure, we hit you again. I think probably in this day and age, it's probably the best way of doing it. Like, is you say to people, well, it's £2 a month, 50 quid. Look, there's a form. You know where it's gone, and it would be good if people would do that. You know, let's put it this way: for an old age pension, I can afford to do boycott any of these. Anyway, joking apart, once again, thanks very much for coming. And there's still some fish and chips there. All I would ask is, apart from taking the fish and chips, is obviously we need to, you know, we need to put the place back to where it was on the coming, you know, the church hall. So if you could, rather than just discard stuff, if you could take away and dump it elsewhere, and finally safe journey to wherever you're going. In the right case, the Newton Park Hotel.